Moviebox Forums Community Podcast. This is episode number 40 for the week of November 5th, 2012. I'm Dakazu from the forums, and who is with me this week?
8pant1.
Fox 8.
Mr. X.
And what?
And Hootoro?
And Totoro. Well, you did it so quickly after Darfox, I was like, oh, well, we're doing this rapid fire now? Okay, and Totoro.
We gotta get this ball rolling, because I don't know when I'm gonna crash. I'm sick, everybody.
You shouldn't be podcasting while driving a car. You will crash.
It's the law.
The more you know.
Robotaro. Oh, man. 8pant, welcome back.
Thank you. It's been a while. It's a crazy schedule, getting back into school, that sort of thing.
The funny thing is... Oh, sorry, X.
I think 8pant might have a story he could tell on the podcast.
I do have a story, and like all good stories, it involves a tragedy, paramedics, nudity, and Batman. Should I get into this, or is it a little too much?
Aren't we double dipping with Star Wars' video on the forums? But
Star Wars made a video?
yeah.
Possibly.
Okay, well, brief version. I wake up a week ago at 2 a.m., and I hear dripping, and I think, oh, that can't be good. I go to my bathroom, and I see that there's water pouring out of my AC vent. So I called emergency maintenance for my apartment. I put a trash can under it, and I think, I might want to go upstairs and ask the people there if they're dripping or something. I go, I knock on the door, two ladies answer the door, and I realize I'm not wearing a shirt, so that's fun. And I say, hey, sorry to bother you at 2 a.m., but my ceiling is leaking water really bad. They say, yeah, ours too. So we go up to floor 3, and we knock on the door. Someone answers. She says, yeah, everything's fine here. I hear my roommate's shower running, though. And we said, well, could you go check on him? And so she does. She said, oh, yeah, he's in the shower, but he's on the ground and he's not moving. Come on! So I break my way in. I say, move aside, ma'am. I'm an Eagle Scout, a line I have been waiting my whole
Did
life
you really
to
say
use.
that?
Yeah, I said that. I've been waiting my whole life. I'm going to say that.
That's hilarious.
So the dude is lying naked in his shower. His ass is covering the drain. And, I couldn't tell if anything was electrified, but the floor was covered in water, so I thought, well, I'll just do it anyway. I go in, I shake him on the shoulder, I say, hey, are you alright? He says, yeah. So he's not dead, so that's nice. I turn off the shower, I take his pulse, I pull him out, I tell the other people to call the paramedics. And, long story short, he got really, really drunk. His girlfriend was there. She said, oh, well, he asked if I wanted to take a shower with him, and I said no. And so, I heard him fall down a couple times in the shower, but I thought he was just being dumb. Yeah, so,
Wait, so the girl who answered the door was the girlfriend?
No, that was a different girl.
Nice.
So, emergency maintenance came to my place at like 4 a.m. Well, the paramedics arrived. We helped them out. There were dryers in my room going constantly for 3 days. Everything's dried out now. The carpet's cleaned out. Still haven't gotten an apology from him, but the moral of the story is when someone asks you to take a shower with them, you say yes!
Also, if you're a god.
Yeah.
I'm like how we're recording this, you know?
Feel free to cut this out.
No, man, I'm gonna use this for other people.
I was thinking maybe I should like make a radio play where I get like all the sound effects going in the background, like dripping water and sirens, but maybe that'll have to wait for another time. We'll get Snake Boot on that.
No. If you make this radio play, you play you, and then we get Totoro to play everybody.
Yes, and
Do you
Snake
just
Boot will
have-
do the sound effects.
Fantastic.
Do you just have a Foley artist on hand at all times?
Maybe.
You should.
I'm surprised he didn't get maced multiple times.
Actually, it's his time to get paid, so let me pull that out. All right, there you go. Okay, we're done.
So what would that be sound effects for exactly?
It sounded like sucking dick.
That was not. That was not what that was supposed to be.
I'm sorry. That's kind of gross and rude.
That was me shaking a big jar of money.
No, but like afterwards, it was something else.
Moving on.
Sorry, I just went into coughing fit after laughing.
Yeah, take that.
Yeah. X, why don't you talk about your recent purchase?
I bought some chicken today. That was probably the last thing I bought. It's pretty
Fascinating.
good. But before that, I got a Vita. So
Yes.
that's probably what you were talking about.
Yes, that was.
The chicken was really good.
How many games did it have?
Like 5.
So more than the Vita.
Yes.
There's really only like 4 games out for the Vita.
No, there's more than that. There's only a few that I'm interested in, though. I bought the Assassin's Creed Liberation bundle It's the same price as the Vita by itself, but it comes with a game, so it'd be kind of dumb not to get it.
Right.
And it's a white Vita, which I didn't really want, but now I'm kind of glad I got it because the white one actually looks pretty awesome. But the hardware itself is really good. It feels real sturdy, and it's just cool looking.
Yeah, I went to GameStop recently. I saw it on display there. I was like, hey, neato.
The user interface is a little weird, though. It's got all these, like, buttons. I guess that's the best way
Are you
to put
talking
it.
about, like, the main menu, like, interface? Because when I went up to the kiosk, I was using the buttons. I'm like, wait, how do I select stuff? And then, like an idiot, I was, like, standing there for about 5 minutes before I was like, oh, I actually just touch the screen and slide around, like an iPad, because it's touchscreen.
Yeah. But other than that, like when you're in that game and then you hit the PlayStation button, the PS button, thinking it would just bring up like a cross media bar or something so you could check messages. Instead, it like minimizes the game and then you go back to the normal, the like dashboard, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, the main screen, and then you do everything from there. I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of wish I could just do everything in game, but I guess it's kind of a way to multitask, I guess. Because I guess it's probably not as powerful enough to do everything you'd want it to. It is just a handheld. But Assassin's Creed Liberation is okay. And there is this one gimmicky part so far, but I hear there's lots of gimmicky parts to the game. But this one part was I found an envelope, and then to open the envelope, I had to slide my fingers across the back and the front at the same time, like I was ripping the top of the envelope off. And I think that'll get annoying after a while.
I can imagine. That is
That
not
sounds
how I
like-
open my envelopes either.
That sounds like old school, like DS stuff, you know? Remember, like, rub rabbits and stuff like that?
Yeah, and I hear I haven't come across any yet, but I hear there's parts of the game where you have to hold the Vita up to a light.
What?
I don't know.
That's some book tie shit right there.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know. I want the Vita, but I mean, it looks like such a great piece of hardware, but there's no
This is just
games
one
that I
game.
say yet.
This is just one game, you know?
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
the only game I have.
the other person who has the Vita that I know of is Kenzo.
Kevin has one,
And, oh, he does?
and so does Jen.
Cool. Oh, okay. There you go. That's two more people I know. But Kenzo got it because he wanted to get the sequel to 99 Nights. Well, not 99 Nights. What is that?
999.
Yeah.
The sequel to
9 hours,
99
9
Nights.
persons, 9 doors.
Yes.
Nope, he wanted the sequel to 99 Nights because that game was good. I did try some more demos though, because it does have the PlayStation Store and stuff on it. And I tried the demo to Gravity Rush, which actually seems really cool. That you hit
What
the
is this?
right trigger, and then you lose gravity and you start floating, and then you aim at something and you hit the right trigger again, and then it launches you towards whatever you're aiming at.
Is this like a platformer type thing?
No, it's kind of like, I guess it's probably like a character action game mixed with a platformer. It seems pretty
It's
cool.
kind of like action adventure type game.
Yeah, it's good. I'll probably end up getting that. And then I also tried the demo for Uncharted, because there is an Uncharted game for the Vita. People forget that for some reason. And that was okay. It was Uncharted. I mean, it was only like a 10-minute demo. So I'll get that too. But then other
So
than
what
that,
prompted you? Sorry.
I just wanted the Assassin's Creed.
That's really it. It was the killer app, just like 999 sequel was for Kenzo.
Yeah, I just really like Assassin's Creed.
Have you played Assassin's Creed 3?
I'm waiting to get that on PC, because that'll be the best version.
All right, question. What would your ideal Vita game be?
Like, in what context?
Well, I mean, it really. A lot of people say it could stand alone as a console itself. I think that's a little over the top. But I mean, what would you like to see on it in terms of, I guess, reviving properties that you'd really like, or maybe just something that would see really good use of the touchscreen or its other features?
Well, just.
I mean, nothing I can think of can't be done on the 3DS or something like that.
Well, I mean, yeah, but everything that can be done on 3DS can also be done on the Vita.
Better too.
Yeah,
You have to
more
specifically think of PlayStation type brands then that you want to see revived.
powerful. Rapper the Rapper? That could be cool.
That could be very cool.
I'd love to see a really good Kingdom Hearts on it, but that's my default answer for everything, really.
Whatever.
Jumping Flash? That was a game, right?
Jumping Flash is pretty good.
I've soured on Kingdom Hearts at this point, I think.
I don't blame you at all. I haven't played one in a
And
while.
I love Kingdom Hearts, man. Kingdom Hearts was the best.
There's a segue we could go from Kingdom Hearts, but do you want to take it?
Well, no, it's perfectly valid. I mean, in
Let's
Kingdom
just
Hearts 4, we all know what we're going to be doing. We're going to be fighting Darth Vader alongside Wolverine and
Spider-Man.
I don't know, Mr. Incredible.
We can just segue into it because I don't know how much else about the Vita we're actually going to talk about.
You can take screenshots.
Kingdom Hearts 4.
That was the thing you wanted to mention, right?
Yeah, Jen and Kenzo both didn't know that you could do that, and they had it before me. And I figured it out in like 2 seconds because I love screenshots.
That's strange because I even knew that because they're sort of bragging about that. Because it's a new feature, right?
Yeah, but apparently you can't send it to people on PS3.
Well, I'm not surprised Darfox knows because he's such a Sony fanboy.
Oh, your words wound me.
Ha ha ha.
Well, stop being such a fanboy.
I was gonna say Kingdom Hearts 4 is probably gonna come out 2025, the year 2025.
Yeah, that'll happen when Half-Life 3 comes out. Speaking of which, happy 50th birthday, Gabe Newell.
He's 50?
Whatever.
50. I know he
guys-
listens to the show, so I just wanted to say that.
Have you guys seen that? What was that really good webcomic? Perry Bible.
Fellowship.
Was Fellowship?
I
Okay.
think.
There's a great issue or whatever. There's a great comic of those where it shows like a kid wake up in the morning, goes, "It's my birthday," and then in the next panel shows like Death moving across like a bead across like this bar.
Yeah, I've
You
seen
know,
that.
like, it's
Yeah,
closer
I know
to
what you're
death.
talking about.
That's always what I think about when someone's birthday.
1 year closer to death for you.
Yeah.
Way to
When's
take
your
the
birthday?
podcast to the dark place. To the dark side.
Well, it's.
Speaking of the dark side,
You want to talk about Tales from the Dark Side, the movie?
no, you
You
wanted
got
to
it.
talk about the
DC Comics,
acquisition.
Starside.
Oh my gosh, you wanted to talk about the acquisition of
Dark
Lucasfilms
Of Dark Side.
by by Disney.
By Dark Side. Yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
That's pretty big news, right?
Cool. Can we move on?
Well, sure. Do you think there's going to be a new Maniac Mansion? That's LucasArts.
If I were you, I would hold my breath until they'd release it.
Do you think?
Start now.
Do you think there will be a Maniac Mansion cartoon? Because I would watch that. And I don't really watch cartoons.
I think.
They'd have to get Tim
Sorry, go
Schafer
ahead.
involved, though.
I don't know. I mean, the whole Disney thing is big news, but A, everyone's already talked about it. B, I don't think we're even going to be able to begin to guess what they're actually going to do. I mean, in all likelihood, Episode 7 is going to play it a little safe, going to try just to repair some of the prequel damage. But, I mean, beyond that, I mean, we could have what you were talking about, X, your Star Wars movie with no Jedi.
Yeah, I mean, Episode 7, I don't really want old Luke to be around, and old Han Solo, and old everyone. I just want, like, a side story, Han Solo by himself, or Han Solo and Chewbacca on smuggling adventures.
Yeah, what if it ended when they first meet Luke in the bar?
That'd be pretty cool.
Cantina.
Whatever.
That'd be pretty cool.
It sounds like more for like extended, like a novel, or for like a cartoon series, or not like a legitimate like.
So all the
proper movie.
all the proper episodes have to be around the Skywalker family.
The main line.
That's dumb.
But I mean, what you're talking about is going back. It's like Star Wars Gaiden.
Kinda.
Yeah, if it's called
Not
Episode
kinda,
7.
That's exactly what that would be.
If it's called Episode 7, it should be like as important as like
Well,
the Battle of Yavin and stuff like that.
well, maybe something comes up from Han Solo's past after the events of Episode 6, and he and Chewbacca have to leave everyone to go take care of it.
Well, fine. I mean, but they could still do Star Wars: The Han Solo Adventures.
Yes.
That should be like like a Red Dead Redemption style game, though. That'd be really cool.
But
You and Chewie
they'd have...
doing stuff, shooting space pirates. What about the
Bounty.
TV series they were talking about?
That's probably not
Star
gonna
Wars 1942.
Yep, 1942.
What are you talking about?
That would be a good place for what you're talking about, a Jedi-less movie or show.
Because it's set during World War II.
Exactly.
So actually in their future, way in their future.
Yeah.
Ah, you're right.
But I think that they should recast everyone if they're going to be using the same characters.
I wouldn't mind cameos by old ass people.
I don't know.
Definitely
George
makes
Lucas
sense
could be like
now.
the old washed-out alien who used to be good, but has been out of the game for so long he just doesn't know he's bad.
Well, I don't think Harrison Ford would want to do another one.
He's 70 at this point.
Yeah, but he just did Indiana Jones a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but that's because George Lucas owns his soul.
Does he? Then why does...
Well, not anymore. Now Disney owns it.
But Harrison Ford has been on record saying he does not like Star Wars.
I know.
But he I think he said that about like half the movie he's been. Doesn't he also not like what's that
Witness.
movie? No,
Blade
Blade
Runner.
Runner. Yes.
I don't think he disliked the movie. He disliked what the studio did to it. Like they made him do that voiceover, and so he purposely did the voiceover bad because he didn't like it. That's in the theatrical cut.
Well, I don't know that there's anyone who really considers the theatrical cut to be the definitive version of that movie.
Genzo does.
Well, Kenzo's wrong.
I know.
Anytime there's a director's cut, that's the definitive version of the movie to me because that's, the director's version of what they wanted.
Right. Although sometimes,
Granted, sometimes movies are good in spite of their directors.
Just
Yeah, there's-
like Star Wars.
there's this version of Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, called the producer's cut, and that is the version everybody likes, which is weird.
is it because it's so schlocky and like
I have no idea. I don't think I've seen
eager
it.
to please?
Yeah, I should probably restate that that's not a hard and fast rule. The director's cut is not always the best.
Like on Lord of the Rings, wasn't the director's cut the theatrical version? Because that's the version he intended everyone to see. And then the extended cuts are just for the super fans.
I'm not entirely sure on that.
I think I read that somewhere. Probably the internet.
Well, then it must be true. The internets never lie.
Do you think that they will reboot Indiana Jones or something now that Disney has it?
If they do, they need to get. I would rather see something with Sean Patrick Flannery.
Did they get the license for Indiana Jones as
That's
well?
Lucas.
Lucasfilm is the studio.
I
on
thought that might be tied to
Mm.
Paramount somehow because they,
They're just the distributor.
yeah. So they might have
Now
to. They still might get distribution rights on all future Indiana Jones movies.
Right. Well, and that may hold them up from doing like some super, super box set version of Indiana Jones. The same thing with Star Wars.
There's already a box set version of Indiana Jones, though.
Well, but if they do more movies,
True.
I mean, that was what happened with Alfred Hitchcock's movies. You would have like all but 4 or 5 that you could collect into a singular box set. But then there are these other 4 or 5 that he did with a different studio or whatever, and that those I think they actually considered those the quote unquote lost Hitchcocks
Also,
because the studios didn't want to release them on DVD originally.
that also happened with the Friday the 13th movies. The first 8 are Paramount, and then New Line bought the rights. So after that, they also no longer called them Friday the 13th. It was Jason something.
Right. Well, and that's probably shortly thereafter, since New Line also owned the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. That's when they started doing the Freddy vs. Jason stuff.
In Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, which is part 9, Freddy's
at the very
Freddy's hand comes out the ground and grabs the mask, which was the best part of that movie. That movie is bad. So this is Horrorbox, right?
Horror movie being. Yeah, I was about to say a horror
Wrong
movie being bad.
podcast.
Yeah, the only, just to kind of tie it back to something that was brought up earlier about the director's cuts and the extended editions. New Line Cinema was actually saved from bankruptcy by the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yep, because those movies made a lot of money.
Yeah, and I
Literally thousands of dollars.
does New Line have the distribution rights for The Hobbit?
New Line doesn't really exist anymore.
Gotcha.
They were bought by Warner Brothers. So now if they
Oh,
it might be a separate division inside Warner Brothers, but it's still just Warner Brothers.
gotcha. Okay.
I think they were banking on
Interesting.
like that Golden Compass movie. Does that sound right?
Oh, the Philip Pullum.
Yeah,
books.
with Daniel Craig in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
those. I had to read that book in 7th grade and I hated
And because
it.
that movie,
I've heard
You
of that.
had to read that book, really?
I had to read The Golden Compass in 7th grade.
That's wow. Did you go to like a liberal private school or something?
Yeah, I went to an arts magnet school.
Okay, that explains.
I had to read The Giver.
I had to read that in
Lois
6th
Lane.
grade.
I
don't know what that
remember The Giver, Lois Lowry. I actually. Okay. It's I don't know. I never read it, but I've heard about it, and I know the synopsis kind of well, or not kind of well, in a very passing manner. But it's not that long of a book. Just check it out. It should be like a day or two read if you read with any speed.
I don't know. I mean, I as a kid, I really dug the whole dystopian future brainwashing premise, but it just took it in a sixth grade reading direction that I didn't enjoy.
Right.
It's like that stupid movie I had to watch, Sci-Fi Future, where they use technology to find out who your soulmate is and literally nothing else.
Yeah, science can be used for so
Wait,
much
what movie
more.
was that?
It was called Timer. It was a great story about crap like that. And the whole time I was thinking, I should just get cyborg legs and impress all the chicks like that. Why have one soulmate when you could have hundreds?
You would be a mandroid. You could just have
I
tank
would.
treads instead of robot legs.
I'd be more man than mandroid.
Before we completely move on from the Lucasfilm thing, one thing that I did want to bring up was the fact that Lucas has stated that he's going to donate most, if not all, of the $4 billion that he's receiving from the sale of Lucasfilm to charity.
I thought for sure you were going to say
So-
to the TF2 and Mumble server.
I was that would be awesome, but so that means that the prequels, because in the Star Wars franchise, the original trilogy and the prequels will wind up doing more good for humanity than any piece of art in the history of the world.
Whoa.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's very good for a CG abomination hippopotamus who was also racist.
Hippopotamus.
What would you call him?
Jar Jar Binks? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, lizard thing.
Not a hippo. What?
What? Hippo?
It's not a hip. What?
I don't know. He's semi-aquatic.
More like a duck.
Are you talking about Jar Jar?
Yeah. It's like a rabbit duck thing.
Okay, then a rabbit duck.
Wait, what are you guys
Jar
talking
Jar
about?
Binks.
He was talking about Jar
You
Jar.
called Jar Jar.
Yeah, I said I
I
never
said
hit
hippo.
called Jar Jar.
Who the hell is Jar Jar Binks?
Nobody puts Jar Jar in a corner. Y'all shut up.
Oh shit! I want to hear this. Star Fox, go ahead.
No, I'm not gonna. That was all.
I enjoyed him when I was in the 4th grade. Yeah, that was cool. Looking back now, I hate Jar Jar, as I should.
So, Dark Fox, how much do you like Dirty Dancing?
I actually haven't seen Dirty Dancing. I just know that line.
Okay.
I carried a watermelon.
Do you think that Disney is just gonna shut down Lucas Arts, like the game division, since Disney's game division is kind of non-existent?
No, I think that they're going to use them as their games division. Why shut LucasArts
Well,
down?
Lucas was shutting LucasArts down, kind of. I mean, they only had one game in development, I believe.
Well, 1313 is apparently still okay. At least as far as we know. Somebody from that team went on Twitter and said, "Yeah, we're still making the game. So far, so good, I guess."
But Disney had a bunch of studios, but then they shut them all down.
Don't they still have at least one group that's dedicated to
The
games?
Epic Mickey team, I think.
Yeah. Where does John Vignacchi work? Because I know he's still working for Disney.
I have no idea. Probably Epic Mickey.
He was working for Disney Games, so unless he got fired.
Because Disney was making that awesome looking Pirates of the Caribbean RPG that was Mass Effect style, but then that got canceled. And then they also released
I remember
Split
that.
Second, I think that's what it was called. That racing game where all the stuff happens in the environment. But
Yeah, I
that
remember
really
that.
didn't do well, so they kind of bailed out in games. They also made Tron, the games, the new one. Apparently not very good.
I hope we return to a golden age of licensed video games where everything was made by Capcom and was really good.
They're
That's
all
who
about
Disney should buy.
They're all about crappy sequels and iterations now.
I miss DuckTales. Woo!
Do 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 do.
No,
Rescue Rangers?
exactly.
Chip and down.
Let's be honest. It's hard to be the Tailspin title song.
Darkwing Duck?
Tailspin opening song is far superior.
Let's Get Dangerous.
Actually, speaking of TV shows, can we talk about Arrow a little bit?
Sure.
Because Totoro has caught up. Well, not fully. Right?
Almost.
So,
Almost. Yeah, I've watched the first.
so you guys want to talk
episodes.
about episode 4? It was pretty good, huh? Remember when that crazy
Any
thing
hope?
happened?
Yeah, that was really crazy.
So,
Wait, are you guys ready to do this?
Totoro, what do you think?
I am really enjoying it so far. It's and unfortunately I don't remember kind of exactly what has been said about this, but it has that kind of feel to me to a degree. I'm not saying exactly, but to a degree of the the Nolan Batman movies.
Are they
where
saying
it's kind of it's plausible.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut. Aren't they saying that like it's good, but people think the acting could be a little stronger?
Well,
Which I would agree with.
I mean, Oliver Queen reminds me a lot of Dexter in more than one way.
Yeah.
Like, he's a serial killer, first of all. And he also has no emotion whatsoever unless he's putting on a show for his like relatives and stuff. Just like Dexter. I think that's a little weird for a superhero.
I think it's a little bit weird for Oliver Queen because I'm not an expert on the comics, but I have, I liked him a lot in Justice League Unlimited, and he was kind of like a charming dude, in costume and out of costume. He was like a cool dude. Here he's kind of like a serious guy animation.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to change because he just got back. Maybe he learns to lighten up a little, but he's
very brooding.
He's still a serial killer.
Well, but I feel like he definitely does have emotions because, he has, concern over, like, what's going on with his sister,
Speedy?
and he's with Speedy, which I'm not super familiar with the comic books, but I know, about, the events of, Green Lantern, Green Arrow number 85. Back in that O'Neill Adams run, but it's with Speedy in that.
Are you talking about the heroine?
That's yes.
Yeah.
And but it's just
so you don't know about the other Speedy that got AIDS.
no.
Bad things happen to characters named Speedy.
Well, I'm sure it's not that far off from something like that happening here.
Maybe. It's not the same Speedy though.
No, obviously not. But
Talk about spoilers on episode 3 at least.
Was that the Deadshot episode?
yeah, that's the one I just got done watching.
Okay, let's do like 5 minutes worth of spoilers. Starting now. So, do you think they will bring Deadshot back?
I hope so. He's kind of
I can't see.
he's an iconic villain, and to burn him off in one episode early in the series.
I know, right?
They killed the Joker off in the first issue of Batman, didn't they? Shows how long that lasted.
Did they?
Yeah,
You
like
mean
very first issue.
You mean like Detective Comics number 27, or you mean Batman number 1?
I think it was the first appearance of Batman and the first appearance.
Was this when
27.
Batman used to just go around carrying a gun and shooting people?
That's when everyone carried around a gun and shot people. Better
It might-
times those days.
It might have been the first appearance of the Joker because I don't think the Joker was in the first appearance of the Batman.
But yeah, point is he didn't stay dead very long.
Well, Deadshot got shot in his robot eye, so that may have like slowed down the
Stopped
arrow
the
or
bullet.
stopped it or whatever, so he could still be cool.
Joker was in his first appearance as Batman number 1.
I stand corrected.
So Deadshot, what do you think of his gun on his wrist?
I thought that was cool.
It wasn't accurate to the comic, but I thought it was cool.
Oh, it's not? I don't know.
But it's supposed to be like not rapid fire. It's supposed to be as fast as he wants to shoot it. Because as he was shooting it, it didn't seem very accurate or anything. Supposed to never miss, and he was missing all over the place.
I don't know. Part of me feels like they'll just burn him and move on.
Maybe.
Especially considering what happens in the next episode, which we will not talk about.
Maybe.
We will not talk about this.
Is it? Oh, okay.
I don't want to ruin things for Totoro. I'll just say that things are moving very fast, right, X?
Yeah,
They're
the
moving very fast.
pacing on this show is ridiculous.
Well, can you answer at least one question for
Okay.
me? Does Deathstroke show up in the next one? Damn.
I
Okay.
can tell you an actor that might show up in the next one.
Is it
Michael
finally? Does John Barrowman finally show up in the next
He
episode?
does.
Because I know that he's in it, but I'm not sure who.
Yes, he
playing.
does.
Okay, excellent. I'll get on that then.
It's in the title sequence. His name shows up, so.
Well, and I had heard that he was going to be in it, and I was kind of disappointed that I hadn't seen him through the first few episodes, but and I was kind of worried. It's like, am I just slipping in my old age that he's been in this and I've not seen his name show up, and I've not recognized him.
Right. But I was talking to Cross about this yesterday, and so much stuff happens in each episode that I'll think the episode is almost over, and then I'll look at the runtime and it's only like half through because just so
Right.
much stuff is going on.
Kinda-
Yeah, it
Do
is.
you think they're set up for failure? I mean, sometimes when shows do that, they're like saying, well, we might get canceled in a season anyway. Let's just
I
throw all
thought
the cool
it's
stuff at
doing
the
well,
wall.
though.
Yeah, it is doing well.
Isn't it?
It got picked up.
It's like their highest rated show in like 4 years or something.
CW, that's not saying much.
I would agree. Actually, I'm surprised how much I'm enjoying it. Despite it's a CW show.
You know, guys should check out Nikita, because
You said this last time too.
the show is a lot like Nikita.
If anything, I was thinking about checking out some Smallville or something.
What?
Mhm.
Wrong.
Do that to yourself.
You should check out. There's 2 shows, maybe 3 shows you should check out before that. Nikita.
Is Smallville really that bad?
Parts of it are awful.
Yes.
I would say the last 2
Like-
seasons of it are the best because they actually lean into their comic book roots.
Watch
Yeah,
Antiques
I-
Roadshow before you watch that.
Oh God, really?
The JSA actually
Uh-huh.
shows up at some
This is
point.
a lot.
I watched a little bit of Smallville, and I did not like any of it.
Could you
Well,
watch?
and
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I quit watching it when they brought Lana back and they started doing the like the whole witch thing.
Yeah.
You know, I was fine up until that, but once that
What?
happened, I was like, okay, fuck this shit.
Wait, what? A witch?
Yeah, she got magic,
Yeah,
and so did Lois Lane and Chloe.
Chloe.
Yeah, it was that was dumb. Everybody says that's.
Who the fuck is Chloe?
From 24.
I thought it would be awesome if it
That
was.
sucks.
Like, Jack, you have to get out of there now. They're coming.
No worry, I'll just tell the butcher out. Meow, 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 meow. Could you watch the last 2 episodes? The last 2 seasons of Smallville and be
I
okay?
think so. Yeah.
It's
I'll
gonna be
do
like
that.
wacky live action superheroes.
Yeah, I mean the Justice League and Justice Society shows up because Green Arrow is on Smallville, and
Well, so is the
yeah, well,
Flash.
that's not actually the Flash. That's
That's
Bart. Who become?
Oh, it's not
It's
Barry.
Bart. He does become the Flash, but in that I think he was called Kinetic or Impulse. Impulse. It was Impulse.
Oh, Impulse, yes.
Man, this just makes me wish there were more episodes of Young Justice available. But
Wait,
there aren't.
have you caught up already?
I'm all
Mister?
caught up, Dark Fox. I'm eagerly awaiting for what did they say January for new episodes to start?
Yeah, and they're like 4 episodes made before the reason they don't want to show it to us. They're waiting for
Freaking
January.
Adventure Time is gonna start up again before that.
Yeah, it's soon, like in a week or so.
Oh, I can't wait.
Same as that other show.
What other show?
There's a show called That
Don't-
Other Show.
Yeah, the one we can't talk about.
Oh, My Little Ponies.
Yep.
Whatever.
Season 3.
I don't hate that show. I just don't know anything about it. Never seen it.
Yeah, I'm with Dark Fox.
You're allowed to talk about it. It's just
We
I
saw
don't know,
that.
then somebody start talking about Prometheus, and then someone's going to talk about Team Fortress Trading, and it's not
You
going
want
to
me?
get
You want me
it's
to
gonna
talk
get
about
ugly.
Prometheus?
No, that's exactly the
That movie's
point.
bad.
So moving on.
Is there anything else we want to talk about before Moviebox, or should we just go into it?
I thought there was something. We can go on.
Something pressing. Something important. No, I'm
I
kidding.
think-
I don't know what
I
it
don't
was.
have much to talk about in terms of games because I had to finish moving since last week, and then I got sick, so I haven't done anything. I've been so busy.
I've been keeping busy with the Team Fortress Halloween special. As always, insane.
Oh yeah, that happened. We could talk about that a little.
Yeah, we played this morning. Glenn, do you want to talk about how freaking insane that Man vs. Zombie is?
That
Oh
is
my god. Yeah, there's a
stupid.
couple new there's a couple new
Is it just
components
hard?
to the update.
There's over
First
800. There's only one wave, and it has over 800 enemies you have to kill.
And 9 tanks. And it was this morning we were playing. It was Apant, X, me.
Biggie was there for a little bit.
It was Ilya. Biggie was there for a little bit. My younger brother was there for a little bit, and we were getting our tails waxed constantly. We maybe got, I think, at our best shot, we got maybe about 15% through the wave.
Yeah, there's this part where a whole bunch of giant soldiers come with medics, and
And they fire nothing but critical hits.
yeah, it was stupid. But then we were able to beat all of those soldiers once. I think the trick was I went pyro and then just started air blasting them back and getting the medics away from them and just
Right.
blasting their rockets back into their faces. And that seemed to work. But then a whole bunch of heavies and pyros destroyed us right away.
Can you explain what the other Halloween special was? Because I was watching Star Wars' video and I couldn't figure out what the hell you guys were trying to do. Only that people were trolling and killing each other.
Yeah,
You
there's...
didn't want them to kill
Are
each
you
other.
familiar with the past Halloween maps where there's a boss that spawns?
I'm not. That's why.
Okay, there's a boss that spawns. Last year, it was a giant eye, and then you'd kill him. Yeah, Monoculus. And you kill him, and then you get him as a hat, and you could also get
Ugh.
the Abominomicon. as a badge, so that whenever you died, you would explode. Whenever you die, you explode. I believe is how that works. And there's also random gifts that will appear on the map that you have to go find. You'll be alerted when you have a gift.
Okay, so you're farming for items in TF2, but how does he appear?
He appears randomly, and you have to have 10 people on the server to get him to spawn. But he's harder than the past ones, like the Horseless Headless Horseman and Monoculus.
Yeah, Marasmus, the new boss, he has way cool attacks. Like, one, he can just zap a bunch of people. He can hold up the Bombonomicon and shower bombs everywhere. When his health gets low, he disguises himself as like a prop and scatters a bunch of other props around. So your whole team has to go hitting like random cabinets and tables that appear in the level to try and find which one's him.
That's cool.
And he's voiced by Nolan North. Along with the Bombonomicon, who's hilarious. He's like, hey, you buddy, your head is a bomb. Go run into that guy, you're gonna explode, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be great. You just trust me on this one.
That's exactly what he sounds like.
Okay, so that's why people transformed into bombs and stuff.
Also, when you capture the point, you get a random tarot card, and it will have random effects like big head mode, giant head, or big head mode, tiny head mode, super jump, and low gravity.
It's great because when Roddy Reigns, he's like, Jarati, I am so sorry about that.
My favorite is when he makes everyone line up on the point and dance.
I saw that in the video. So what was Star Wars complaining? Is the red team and blue team need to work together?
Yeah, when the boss spawns, everybody has to work together. Or you have no chance of beating him.
Oh, so that's what he was complaining about? How people were just like kept fighting?
He was complaining that people were complaining.
Oh, okay.
Because people would just walk up and shoot me as I was shooting him, and everybody else, and I'd be like, "What are you doing?" And then people had to get kicked because they weren't following the rules.
And
really kick people?
Well, they were being jerks.
As if that wasn't enough, there's all sorts of new items, like new paints you can apply. You can apply all sorts of spells to your items to make them like have footprints when you walk or shoot different effects. And you can get a zombie skin for all the classes. And you can get new items, so yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, this is like probably the
new weapons.
This is probably the biggest. I don't think there's any new weapons. This is probably the biggest Halloween update.
There's one new weapon. It's a skull with a spine that you can hit people with. It does the same as all the default melee weapons.
Meh.
But the Bombonomicon is pretty funny. When you go to Loot Island, it's awesome. He'll just sit there talking to you. Loot Island is where you go after you beat Marasmus, and then you go through the Bombonomicon, and then you get your achievement. And you can only do this during Halloween, so it's time sensitive.
When is it up?
The 7th?
Okay, so people should jump on our TF2 Geekbox server and play with everybody and farm these items. And also you should donate to the server. Donate.
Donate people.
Give us money.
No, don't donate people, but people should donate. I don't know what we would do with extra people that were donated. Slavery's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, slavery. That reminds me of Assassin's Creed Liberation. The game opens with slaves being sold. I thought that was a little weird, but fitting for the time and place.
Do you liberate them?
It's kind of cool that it doesn't shy away from that stuff.
That was a serious question. Do you liberate them?
No, when you start the game, you're just a little kid. But you do have you change costumes. It has this weird costume mechanic, and one of the costumes is a slave costume. So you put on that, and then you're less likely to be spotted, and you're able to blend in with other slaves. And you also have a fancy dress that you wear, so you can charm people. But then you can't run up buildings and climb and stuff. You can only kind of walk around. And then assassin's costume.
I love that the lady spin-off of Assassin's Creed is like the same as like Final Fantasy X-2, where it's like different costumes.
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing.
Anytime
you play dress up.
Into the spin-off, they gotta be playing dress up.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of dumb, and I'm not sure how I like that mechanic right now. Right now, I'm not liking it because I just want to run around and on buildings all the time, and I can't do that.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the make from Metal Gear Solid 3, where'd you rate it?
Wait, what?
What?
10 being Metal Gear Solid 3.
You mean the remake?
Oh, the one where you had to put all the camo on your face.
Metal Gear Solid 3 is terrible, so I would.
Yeah,
I mean, I've only played.
It's almost as bad as Metal Gear Solid
2 is way better. 2 is the second best.
Worse.
I think we can all agree that the
worst.
first was the
fourth
best.
Is the best.
The first is the best.
I'm gonna be the better man here and put an end to this Metal Gear conversation before it turns ugly.
The ninth.
Revengeance will be the
I don't know.
best.
Yes, no.
I just want to keep
That
talking
might
about
be.
Metal Gear so we get annoyed Totoro.
I would say that I've only played this Assassin's Creed game for like an hour, so I would give it an hour out of 10.
That's
So I'm
good.
really looking forward to episode 7.
But
I
you've only
think that's
seen up
cool.
to
I
episode
think that
3 of
people-
Arrow. What's so special about 7?
that's a joke. I think people who are saying it should be based on the whatever trilogy, just calm down. Episode 7 is probably gonna be cool. Just wait until there's a trailer or more news.
I just can't wait for them to retcon all the books.
Who do you think is gonna?
That's
Who would you
that's
like to
what's
see
gonna
them
happen.
put in charge of Star Wars?
Anybody?
Joss Whedon.
Abrams, Joss Whedon,
Lawrence Kasdan.
a brand new guy out of
Gore
Seriously.
Verbinski.
who's that? What do he do?
Lawrence Kasdan.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote episodes 5 and 6.
Isn't he dead?
Oh, okay.
No, you're thinking of
Oh, okay.
someone else.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yes,
He's dead.
That'd be good.
that'd be really good.
Quentin Tarantino's episode 7. They just stand around talking.
In a
I'd watch
bathroom.
that.
Does it say dead Gungan service in front of my house?
Gundam style.
Dead Gundam style service.
We could get Kevin Smith and be super meta. Hey, we're talking about Star Wars in Star
I'm
Wars.
sick of all these Star Wars.
It's kind of a funny clip.
You know what?
Yeah, I'm looking at Lawrence Kasdan's screenwriting credits here. He did Empire Strikes Back, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Return of the Jedi, and some other really good movies as well.
So basically the best movies are.
No, he also did Dreamcatcher.
Mm.
The Bodyguard.
Did he really
Yes.
do Dreamcatcher? That is a
When
huge
some-
demerit, Totoro.
Win some, you lose some.
That was really bad.
The Big Chill,
Silverado's great.
Silverado.
Big Chill was pretty good.
Silverado's a wonderful,
It is.
wonderful one. Wyatt Earp is not half bad.
No, it's not.
The thing about
It's not half good either.
Like Return of the Jedi, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Empire Strikes Back, he was just the writer on those. When you get into other stuff like The Big Chill, Silverado, and even later stuff like Wyatt Earp and Dreamcatcher, he wrote and directed those.
I really would not be surprised if they gave it to Gore
So-
Verbinski.
God,
The
I
first
hope
Pirates
not.
movie was really good.
The first
I
one.
understand that.
The remainder were not.
There's been 4
Rango was
since
pretty
then.
good. The Ring was pretty good, right?
The Ring also was a while ago and very different.
True.
He also did the
But
Time
he also
Machine.
did Mouse Hunt.
That's a great movie.
That's a big
Mouse
demerit
Hunt?
in my book.
What?
Same.
Wait, he's doing a
That was a
BioShock
rumor.
movie?
I think he walked off it. I don't think he's doing it anymore. He wanted it to be R, and they said no, so he said, "Okay, I'm leaving."
And he's doing Clue.
Yeah, the Lone
and
Ranger,
Ranger
looks
movie.
pretty good. Johnny Depp.
It's got and Army Hammer. Johnny Depp is Tonto. Have you seen images
Yeah.
stills from that?
It's got a big stuffed bird
He's
on
in
his
the
head.
trailer. He
Yeah.
narrates the trailer.
Yeah, well, I didn't know if anyone had seen the trailer, but it cracks me up because he
It
just
looks like the movie's
so,
a comedy because he has a bird on his head.
It does. It's like, how can I cannot possibly take this seriously.
I don't know. I'm sure that he'll do a good job.
I'm sure it'll be fine, but it's like looking at him with this bird on his head and with the face paint on it. It's like I honestly don't know how I can take it seriously. It looks goofy.
But Johnny Depp is always goofy in movies, unless you're watching Donnie Brasco.
Yeah, he was definitely not. Goofy in that.
He should play Goofy in a live-action Goofy movie.
He'd pull it off.
Should we move to Moviebox?
I think we should.
Mm-hmm.
So this week's movie box pick was Indie Game the movie. It was brought to us by Bobby Goggles or Robot Goggle. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here, but hey guys, I like this movie.
It's pretty good.
Me too.
I really liked it as well.
I liked it, even though in the beginning I hated everybody involved in front of the camera.
Everyone?
But then as the way it went on, I started to sympathize with most of them, and became happy for their success. And except for
Yeah,
Phil
he
Fish,
seems weird.
I don't know.
No,
I was telling Totoro this earlier. I just want to give Bill Fish a big hug, but I also don't want to get too close to him because he seemed a little
He's talking about
violent.
murdering a dude.
he's just
Yeah.
yeah. crazy. My wife was watching the movie with me, and she was like, "That guy Phil Fish, he is crazy, and also even Jonathan Blow, she was like, that guy's crazy too.
Jonathan Blow is just kind of weird.
Jonathan Blow
Blow
is pretentious.
Yeah.
he's there.
He's kind of like a
I mean,
smart
that's
guy,
easy to
but he's
write
just
him
kinda
off, but
weird.
I can totally understand the things he says about, like, I didn't like that people just played the game and they didn't really get the vision. I don't agree with that, but yeah, I totally understand where he's coming from on that.
Yeah, I mean, as an
the whole
artist,
point of
he's
this game-
disappointed, like, what he wanted. Like, he wanted to convey something, and he's just disappointed that
I
didn't
think
carry
he saw
through,
the Soldier Boy
unfortunately.
video, and that's how he thought everybody saw the game.
You ain't never running out of that go back in time potion.
The game has no point.
Well, and the other, yeah, I think that would, if anything, I think that would definitely set someone off. But to me, if you're wanting to convey something, then it doesn't come across in the final product, then you did not do your job correctly.
True. I mean, I'd argue that anyone could get Braid, except like the super subtle levels where it's analog for nuclear war. But the whole point of the movie was
That's
that
not
these
true,
games are so personal reflections of the people who make them, and they're successful nonetheless. That's got to be admired.
Well, and it's like I see so many other artists, and I'm going to use a very, broad term for artists here, who, when they create something and they put it out into the world, that they definitely want to leave it open for interpretation. At the end of the day, there are a lot of people who are less interested in what it meant to them, and they want to know, what effect it had on other people. It's like, for example, at the end of 2001: A Space Odyssey, Kubrick and Arthur C. Clarke would often say, if you know exactly what it's about, then we didn't do our jobs correctly, because they wanted to leave that as open for interpretation as
The
possible.
ending of
Yeah, definitely.
Inception?
Yeah, but like
I know.
on another scale.
Yeah. I guess I was trying to. My brain was. I was still on
You weren't
2001. I was
expecting,
trying
like,
to remember. I was like Inception. I was like, oh yeah, but yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
I mean, yeah, I always
Or-
love that, but the nerd part of my brain is always like, well, what happened in canon? How did that character end up? But there's always something to be said for having your own interpretation of it and leaving that up to the audience. Thick skill.
But that's what Jonathan Blow didn't want. He wanted to convey something, and he failed, so they
But
upset
at
him.
the same time, he was also trying to make a game, and everybody really liked the games, and he made a good game, so he succeeded in that way. But they didn't get his message.
I'm looking forward to
Right.
The Witness.
With Harrison Ford,
Yeah, so am I.
it's a good
Yes.
movie.
No, the other Jonathan Brady, Jonathan Blow.
Yeah, his full up.
Jonathan Brady.
Jonathan
You're
Brady.
making a game based on Witness?
Yeah, it's
So
Amish
it doesn't
games,
exist?
So they send it to you, and it's a plank of wood
So it's
with stuff on
I
it.
think-
It's like the
checkers.
Labyrinth game.
Yeah,
I think there's an article about it on Giant Bomb, and actually it is similar to Checkers, because the little I remember or know about it is the whole game. So it's first person, and the whole game like deals with all the puzzle interaction is on these computer monitors, similar to how like in Doom 3, how you walk up to a computer monitor and suddenly you're moving your cursor
Are you
in the
playing
computer
Turkey
monitor.
Puncher?
You're playing this game that's basically connected dots, but each time each computer monitor is somewhat different, and it's supposed to be pretty smart.
I
And I'm
love
sure
this-
it
I
tells
love
a
this
story about
description.
like genetically modified food or something like that.
Sure. Let's go
Hey,
with
John, if you're looking for a writer,
Doesn't he make
I'm
all his
not
games just
doing
by
anything.
himself, just one dude?
Well,
Mostly.
what about the little dude he had
Yeah,
with
guy
him?
with him?
but didn't that guy just do the music?
Yeah.
I thought somebody did the art. Are you talking about? Were we still talking about Jonathan?
Jonathan
Braid?
Braid.
Jonathan Blow.
Nothing.
I just love how you just refer to him as Jonathan Braid.
That's a
He
cooler
should change his name
though.
to that. I like
J.
how in the movie when they started talking about the reception to Braid and everybody would start commenting about it, he would just show up in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the Penny Arcade where Jonathan Blow just materializes.
I thought that was pretty funny. But I do know
That's what happened with the
he
girlfriend in my
is
story.
willing to do interviews with anyone. And I know that because I know someone who just started up his own website, and he just sent him an email saying, "Can I interview you?" And he was just like, "Yeah, sure."
We might need to get on that.
He'll do it. He'll
Yeah, why
just do
not?
an email interview where you send him questions.
He's probably like open to talking about a lot of this kind of stuff, you know, which I think is fine.
Yeah, he seems cool, but pretentious.
Well, that definitely.
Let's talk more specifically about the movie, though. What did you think about it as a documentary?
Thought it was okay.
I mean, yeah.
I thought it was actually pretty darn good as a documentary, as far as like putting in like bells and whistles to have dummies, you know, have something for like somebody who's not really interested in the movie to be entertained visually, to do a good job of like transitioning and not just showing you screenshots and videos. They sort of deconstruct the games, and they reconstruct it as like a montage or something like that. And when Jonathan Braid was talking about his original prototype for Braid, and like, you know, they in the movie they would replace the old assets with the new assets to show you how similar the things were. So as just from technical level, the way they put it together, I think they did a pretty good job about it. And I guess from like a narrative perspective, I think they also did a good job about letting you know, getting to know these characters or these people pretty, or at least relatively well. You know, well enough for the purposes of this movie. And I was pretty happy for the two guys about Meat Boy. Was for Meat Boy when they when
I
they
liked
got
when they were
paid.
watching the videos and they started watching the Giant Bomb videos. Thought that was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, like you kind of feel that their joy. It's weird because they're feeling the joy by watching other people, and you're feeling the joy by watching them watching other people.
Super meta.
So, but it's
And then I bet the filmmakers are getting joy from people watching them watch people watch them.
Let's back out of the dream a little
like
bit.
creepers. They like being watched.
Yes.
Let's go up a couple dream levels here. I think that the movie the best part about it for me was just the emotional aspect that it captured. So yeah, just seeing them happy, but seeing what kind of toll it really takes. And that especially hits me home because, I mean, well, that's something I would love to be doing later in my life. Working in a small indie studio. Just on Wednesday, our 3D design teacher said, I don't have anything else to teach you because an assignment's due, so let's go around and say what you want to be when you grow up. And I said to her, well, I mean, I'd love to do that. I'm teaching myself Java. I'm doing 3D design. I do Photoshop, everything like that. But I just have the feeling that people have been doing this their whole lives and are way ahead of me. And she said, well, no. Everyone, especially with those skills, can work at like an indie game studio like that. Just be prepared to work 90 hours a week for $10. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's...
hell.
Good luck.
Yeah, so it's definitely a very deep emotional investment, but in cases like this where it pays off, it really does.
We should
pay
make
off.
a game. All of us.
Like how?
Well, I am working
No.
on Shafted still, now that I have programming and
We
design
can call
classes.
it the Geekbox like TF2 server, and it'll be a game of people playing on that server, but not playing TF2.
Oh God.
Why don't we just play TF2? Simplify things.
Wait, so I'm sorry. Shafted was this game that was basically like a 4-player co-op Kirby, or am I crazy?
Yeah, no, that's it. 4-player co-op,
Okay, because you talked about it
combat-based
before.
platformer. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
one I talked about a while ago.
Okay, yes. It's still called Shafted.
Shafted. I mean, that's a
Are
tight
you gonna
stick
have
title, but yeah, why
going back
not?
in time potion?
I ain't gonna have no going back in time potion.
By the way, I really like that Soldier Boy video. I don't blame Soldier Boy for being so angry about the game or anything like that. It's like whatever.
He wasn't angry about it. He really
he's
liked
with
the
his,
game.
Yeah, he's with his friends and they just play the game and they have a reaction to it. It's just kind of funny.
That's hilarious.
The way he phrases things, and I don't think people should get angry at Soldier Boy for
Well,
that
he said
or anything like
No,
that.
that's the thing about art. You can't control once you put that product out there, you can't control how people react. I just went to go see a play, and even though this was a serious drama, some people in the audience were snickering at some of the really dramatic parts because you can't control how people are gonna react when people are shouting really loud, ah, because some people's natural reaction to that is to crack up because oh my god, that's so funny. They screaming like that.
Or it's so out of place.
Yeah.
So what did you go see then?
I don't want to get into
Just,
specifics. Sorry.
Okay, never mind. Well, I was I didn't know if it was Shakespeare or something because I
Hamlet.
saw a really
Rent.
yeah in the middle of the fencing scene at the end of Hamlet. When the dramatic tension is at its height.
It was a school
was
production.
it Rent that play
Okay.
about AIDS?
Okay, gotcha. That's fine.
No, it was just a
That's-
school production, and I think mostly the people who were cracking up were the other students that went to go watch it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I remember going to see when I was in college, seeing, and especially horribly cheesy production of A Midsummer's Night Dream.
I'm sorry. My production was awesome. It was really entertaining, and I thought it was great.
Well, there you go. Yeah, kind of going back to talking about the movie. I kind of had the same feelings that Apant did because as someone who's a developer and a web developer, I've had a lot of inspiration for ideas and things that I've actively worked on. Some of them that have never seen the light of day that I've put a lot of time in, and it's you do invest every time you start working on a project. No matter what it is, you invest yourself into it and you start to pour yourself into it. And there were times there, when those guys were, starting to break down. I've been there before so much. And I mean, I actually did, feel like I cried a little bit, because I've been through that pain of wondering if is there anything that's going to come of this. Or
so could you understand where Phil Fish was coming from when he said he would kill himself if Fez never came out?
I've never been that tied to something.
Phil Fish obviously has major problems with
I don't love anything as much as Phil Fish loves not Braid, Fez.
Fez. Yeah, it's like I think that if you I've never considered anything I do to be such high art, that if it doesn't come together, that I'm going to off myself. Those thoughts never, for me, they never crossed my mind at all.
I would love to have seen a follow up to Phil Fish after Fez finally came out.
PAX panel.
And no, just after that Fez came out. And what happened at the PAX panel, what happened with Fez on Xbox Live about the game save problem. Remember, and then they said they wouldn't patch it anymore.
So what was the deal with the former partner for Fez, who wouldn't sign the papers and stuff?
They played that up way too much, I think.
Well, that's kind of what documentaries
But what was
do,
his story? I mean, why did he pull out or whatever?
Because the game wasn't finished.
I forgot. I read an article, a counterpiece article, when the movie was coming out somewhere, but I don't remember specifics. Just that it wasn't.
Yeah, one of my. Go ahead.
No, just that it wasn't really as one-sided as they made it in the documentary.
It never is. Billy Mitchell wasn't really the jerk he was played out to be in King of Kong.
Well, he's still a jerk, but a lot of the things they showed in that movie, he actually didn't do that.
Well, I mean, he did do that thing where he mailed in his recording of him playing Pac-Man after the dude beat him.
Yeah, he's still a jerk. He's still Billy Mitchell's still a weirdo jerk. But that movie definitely is King of Kong. As much as I like that movie, it definitely is super manipulative with his editing.
But he does have a pretty sweet tie.
Yeah, but I would say as a documentary that King of Kong is far more entertaining than.
Well, it's because it's structured more like Rocky or something.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and there's to me, this is going to lead directly into my one huge criticism of Indie Game the movie. To me, at a certain point, I feel like there are points when something veers away from the line of being a documentary, which is just supposed to really be something where it's documenting an event or documenting some sort of subject, and it veers into being so selectively edited that it's more entertainment than anything else. Now, my one big criticism of Indie Game the movie from that standpoint is at the end, during the credits, it says that Phil Fish's ex-partner was not asked to be interviewed for the film.
Yeah.
To me, that's really shady, because it's one thing, you always ask. And if they deny it, you say, well, we asked him, but he,
maybe Phil Fish said, I won't do it if you get him on.
Then
I believe that.
See,
that's super shady.
That's still really shady, because then you don't get each side of the story there. Like with the Super Meat Boy guys, with Edmund and Tommy, it's definitely one of those things where it's not necessarily that they're overcoming odds, they're overcoming troubles in their lives. It's not a man versus man, and I'm just mean like human versus human conflict where they're trying to overcome forces in their lives that are not necessarily human driven, like the way that is. That's not any sort of it's not any sort of person trying to affect them in a very specific way, the way it was laid out.
Well, they never really said what happened between the two one way or another. It's not like they got Phil Fish's side of the story with how they split up or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
No, just about how he needed to sign off on this or he wouldn't be able to do the booth.
They just kept on showing that pixelated mess of him and Phil Fish.
Yeah.
Like they showed that like
the only thing they said, when Phil Fish was having his breakdown, he said this man stands to be a millionaire if he just lets this game release. And I'm thinking, no, there's got to be something to it. I like you said, Totoro. I just really wanted to hear what was going on with this guy.
But there are people that are just jerks.
There are people that are jerks. But
yeah,
I'd like to know.
I would like to know.
I think Phil Fish is one of them.
I think that there was probably reasons why the guy left, and I would not be surprised if it was all because of Phil Fish.
No, I would not be surprised either.
That guy is a lot of
He
person.
was saying he was going to murder someone on camera.
He was saying that. I really don't want to upset him because I know he listens to the podcast too.
Also, Miyamoto, he listens too.
Don't be ridiculous.
Well, he has his translator listen, and then the translator translates it.
Huh.
Yeah,
I was trying to find his name. You found it before me.
That kind of stuff always just happens with these types of documentaries. When it's like setting up for like that kind of conflict, they always kind of like play it up. So this document, like we were talking about King of Con earlier, they played that shit up like way to the max.
They did.
Yep.
It's like a similar situation. It makes for a more entertaining thing. That's why if you're watching a documentary that isn't like very like objective one, when it is like taking a side or like presenting a side, you just have to kind of like always have to take it with a grain of salt.
They were talking about making the King of Kong into like a movie starring Johnny Depp as Billy Mitchell.
Yeah, and then they said Steve Carell was going to play Steve
I would
Wiebe.
watch that movie.
I would watch that movie too.
Did I tell you that my friend met Steve Wiebe?
No.
He was at some kind of retro arcade like gathering, and like Steve Wiebe was there. Got to talk to him. He said he was a really nice, cool guy.
Was he drawing in all the arcades?
Was this at like?
No.
Was this at like California Extreme?
No. This is on the East Coast. I forgot what the event was.
Maybe the Funko Land at Weirs Beach.
Funko Land.
Could be.
In New Hampshire.
I don't remember specifically.
Fun Spot. I'm sorry, Fun Spot. Fun Spot.
My friend also met what's his name?
I miss Funko Lands.
Oh, I can't think. The guy from Talking
Chen, the surgeon.
The guy from Talking Classics.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Nope.
Over my head.
You guys don't know Talking Classics?
No.
What the hell is the character's name?
Batman.
Keith Apicary.
Oh,
Don't
you
know
talking
who
about
that
the guy that's like partially balding and he's like really funny?
Yeah, and he has all those like he made a bunch of music videos and like he's like
Nathan Barnett.
Yeah, Nathan Barnett, but his character's name is Keith Apicary.
The guy that like falls
and, like,
down and stuff all the time.
Yeah.
He did the Metal Slug movie trailer.
Mm-hmm. And like he did a tour of like the arcades, and like my friend went to a retro arcade once, and like just happened to be Keith Apicary was there, and like he said the entire time like he was hitting on his girlfriend, and which my friend thought was hilarious.
Was he in character? Okay then.
Yes, he never breaks character. he's one of those types of guys.
If he never breaks character, then where does character end and he begin?
Is the top still there?
Anything else about Indie Game the movie?
Fantastic music. Go buy Swords and Sorcery on Steam just so you could listen to all that
Hairless
music.
cats are gross.
Is that the same people?
Oh yeah, it's Jim Guthrie.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the song was And We Got Older. That was the light guitar piece that was going throughout. Yeah, that was right from Swords and
Hairless
Sorcery.
cats are gross.
I think they have their.
Yeah, my wife
They
was
can
commenting
be
on that
cute.
part, Tara.
I think I don't like it.
Why would you want to pet a hairless cat? That's just skin.
What if you're allergic?
I think they're supposed to be. almost like hot water bottles, like that they've been used for that in the past, as far as like to warm people or keep people warm.
They're weird.
Also,
I'd agree with that.
I was wondering.
Yeah,
Go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say we didn't really talk about. I mean, we talked a little bit about Jonathan Blow, and then a lot about
Phil Fish.
Phil Fish, but you know, I think that the story that made the whole movie
Team Meat.
Was Edmund and Team Meat.
Yeah, they were the best.
And
They were likable.
Extremely
They also
likable.
shared. Edmund really shared like a lot about it, like his history and part himself.
Yeah, with all the drawings, that was a really great part.
Mhm.
Especially how he said he was going through the box and he found the drawing that he based a game on, and that really validated.
Also,
that whole
he like
thing.
walked through the importance of like how he designed the game. Like, we're not telling you how to do this, but you will figure it out, and then you will know it. I thought that was
going back to what Darfox said,
Yeah,
how
I
they
thought that was
diagram
cool.
too.
I was also wondering. So remember the part of the movie? I actually opened with this, and then like revisited it later in the movie where the advertisement for Meat Boy wasn't up, and Lou was
Tommy
fucking
and
freaking
freaking-
out.
Yeah.
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 So, while I was watching that, I was saying, like, wait, isn't that just the store wasn't updated yet, and is he just freaking out for nothing, and they just edited the movie like that?
Yeah,
Or
this-
was the game actually
Yeah.
up, and there was no advertisement?
The
That
the
confused
store
me.
doesn't update until usually like late afternoon or something.
Yeah, it's West Coast
It's like
time,
mid to
right?
late afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but
They're in North California.
if they told him,
Well, they
I
were.
would imagine it would be in.
They were all split
Washington
up.
State.
Both of them. I don't think they said where one was working out of.
I know Edmund was in Santa Cruz.
Where's the other one?
Yeah, and Tommy was in.
So one was the East Coast.
Ashton-
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
he
yeah,
was on
he
the
was
East
freaking
Coast,
out
yeah.
when he was 3 hours ahead. Okay.
Yes, but
Well, and
there was a scene where they mentioned that I guess the game was in the store because they were telling people on Twitter how to download it or how to find it.
Or
in
he
the
was
store.
saying I think he was freaking out, saying that's what they were going to have to do eventually.
And that's what
Yeah.
he didn't want to do because it was 6
okay.
steps.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he was kind of freaking out for nothing. He was having a little bit of a
Yeah, but notice how they don't explain that in the
Yeah.
He
documentary
was
for drama.
super panicking.
Drama.
well, I can't blame him. I mean, especially when they told you if Microsoft said it's coming out today and we're gonna have this, placement for you, and I can definitely imagine where maybe they don't give you the exact specifics on some of those
It
things.
definitely seemed like
because
they
those
weren't in
guys
the
were
loop
so-
because they were more of an independent developer, and like Microsoft was not like
Right.
explaining. Okay, this is what's gonna happen, guys. This, and this.
Yeah, they definitely came across as being, just so concentrated on the function and getting the game ready and doing the development on the game that, this other stuff definitely seemed secondary to them.
But that just like gave me like a feeling that like because he sent an email to some guy at Microsoft like where is Meat Boy? Where is Meat Boy? I just got the sensation that the guy receiving that email was like rolling his eyes and being like, Shh, I can't believe we're working with these amateurs who doesn't know how we do work or something like that. Which is obviously like a little bit
Yeah.
extreme. That would be douchey, but like everybody gets updated at the same time, right? It's not like it gets preferential
Yeah.
treatment.
It seemed like they were really unhappy with working with Microsoft, though. Like
They would have made
like
the
he
first.
said, I guess we're just not going to work with Microsoft anymore.
Yeah, they were really open about
Oh.
that, which was kind of surprising.
But I mean, now seeing as how Super Meat Boy sold way better on Steam than it did on Xbox Live Arcade, I would not be surprised.
But it was also
But-
cheaper.
And
Yeah.
it was humble indie bundled.
It's still $15.
But I mean,
on
it
Steam.
gets discounted and stuff all the time.
Sure, but even if at its most discounted, it still only gets down to $5. Even if it gets down to $2.49, a million copies by $2.49 is still like
I think
$2.5 million.
This article that I'm reading is super old, but it says that it sold 200,000 more units on console or on Steam than consoles, like a month after. Like it was released a month early on Xbox Live Arcade, and then it came out, and then it sold way better on PC, like instantly. Like it instantly sold more.
Yeah. Well, and I mean the Well, I mean, I've got it. I mean, they added in OS 10 functionality, and that's how I've had it for I don't know how long, but I'm actually going to sit down and play it here pretty soon because I'm.
The game
luck.
is hard. I remember trying to play it for some of those.
Yeah, that game
for
is
some
hard
of
as
those
balls.
Christmas Steam achievements.
I cheated to get those.
Right.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
I beat
This
that
is someone
game.
who. This is someone who at one point could do the Mega Man 2 1-credit challenge, and I could not even begin those Christmas levels.
What is this Mega Man 2 1-crit challenge?
You play through it with one continue,
Yeah, it sounds,
so like 3
sounds
lives.
kind
Three
of
lives.
obvious.
You like? Can you grab like 1-ups and you can?
It's
Yeah.
just you have to do it
Well,
on
I
one
do.
credit, like 1/4 or whatever.
Well,
No,
no
no,
On
quarter.
normal or
continues.
hard?
NES, so whatever one that is.
Yes.
Wait, normal or hard?
Okay.
Because you could pick.
I think normal.
I don't remember. Probably hard.
Normal's hard enough.
Are you sure? Are you sure that wasn't the anniversary collection where you could pick?
Yeah, I don't remember being able to choose a difficulty on Mega Man 2.
Because they had the difficulty for the Japanese version, which was hard as balls, and that was hard. And then they dumbed it down for Americans.
Always had to burn a life at that sentient room. I hate that boss.
The one where you have to use the crash bomb.
I hate that.
I know exactly what you're talking about. That is crazy that I still know what you're talking about.
Wait, the one that's like with the walls and the things in the walls.
You have
Yes.
10 items you need to shoot and 8 bombs to shoot them with.
Yes.
So you need to die and farm enemies to get it, unless you're really, really good and you could like position the
Yeah,
special items correctly.
you gotta know exactly where to put it. You could kill 2 of them a few of those times.
Go
was
watch
not
some
that
speed
good.
runs. You'd be impressed.
I'm doing that right now, actually. I'm watching Resident Evil 2 speedrun in the background.
But yeah,
Multitasker.
Super Meat Boy's great. I've heard very good things about Fez. Braid, the game itself is great. The story is not for everyone.
I want to know when Fez is going to be on PC because I want to play it, but I don't want to play.
I
on
think they
Xbox.
were saying.
Yeah, me too.
Like Phil Fish said that it was never coming to PC.
Really? That's really fucking
seems-
depressing.
You know what
For
he likes
someone-
more than
Money?
artistic integrity, though? Money. And Steam isn't
Say
really
for
an
once, I think we're
artistic
having
integrity
money.
thing.
I think it was because he was
Is it-
saying he wanted the game to be played with a controller, not a mouse and keyboard. Sitting, and he
Tough.
wanted people to be
Really?
sitting on their couch when they played it. Big picture mode,
Really? Ugh.
I
money,
think he's missing the point.
more people to play the game.
No, not even the money part. Just like
Do you like my hat?
more people,
It's made out of money.
more people getting to experience like his product. Like I just don't want to touch the Xbox version because of that patch issue that they had,
Totoro's right. It might be a business issue.
where they're tied up in like a business. deal
Yeah,
with
I think
for, like,
Microsoft
so many
published
years
it
or
of
something.
exclusivity.
Or it could just be hard, you know. I don't know. I've been programming Battleship in Java. I don't know anything about actually making video games.
Well, yeah, your first mistake is Java. Yeah, Microsoft and Microsoft Studios and Trapdoor published it along with Polytron. So that could definitely it on Wikipedia there's a link to another external article where they said they are considering other stuff, other
Platforms.
platforms. Thank you.
Then again, that's what Gabe Newell said about Source Engine on Linux. Look where that got us.
That's in beta.
They're putting out. Yeah, it's out in beta.
What?
Yeah, it's in
It's
beta.
out on. Yeah.
I
Pretty
take
soon
that
there's
back.
going to be some equivalent of earbuds, but for Linux, for TF2.
I'll need to get some Linux.
Yeah, I'm just going to install I'll get a Ubuntu partition going and do that. Yeah, there's a FAQ on the Polytron website. Will there be a PC, Mac, Wii, PSN, Linux?
I'll take the Jaguar version.
I was gonna say we're holding out for the Jag version.
SNES DMake.
I still have my
hope
Jaguar.
So.
And Jaguar
Oh,
CD.
God. Does it still work?
Sort of. The Jaguar does. The Jaguar CD does not.
So I was gonna say, does it still look like a toilet?
Jaguar CD still does look like a toilet.
Do you know one final thing about the documentary? As with most documentaries, like their transition sequences are always like still shots of like landscapes and stuff like that. Do that a lot.
Dude with the metal detector.
Yeah,
what was up with that?
exactly. That was the one I wanted to talk about.
And
Oh.
the chairlift.
Are they fishing for money? Is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
with the
doing?
metal
Like,
detector,
digging
they
for
just go
gold?
around looking for like
Digging for
people
gold.
lose their jewelry and stuff on the beach all the time.
It's like sitting on
I
a big
thought that
pile
was-
of gold, and the toughest part is
My
lifting
dad
the
actually found a
bars.
diamond ring on the beach once.
Score.
Scavenger.
Yeah, I was watching that transition and I saw that guy there and I was like, that is really pretty apt for what they're trying to do. They're trying to look around for this, the something to pull out, from all these ideas and things, and find, something that's going to be worth their while.
And then at the end, he actually
So
found
that's
something
how
and
it
was
was
digging, but it never showed what he got.
I thought he was like, forget it,
Did
and
he?
left.
Well, it was probably something that he actually dug up, but he was like because he like scanned the little hole that he made, and it didn't. He stopped after that.
Well, yeah, indie game, the movie. It's good. You should check it out.
I want to mention one last thing. I thought it was really funny when one of the Penny Arcade guys came up to like the
Joe
Fez
Fish.
booth, and he was saying like such bullshit superfluous like praise, like, wow, look at that, it spins, oh look
Your
look
pixel
look at those
art.
colors, man, that's great. And
Oh, it's
Phil Fish
turning.
was like awed by the praise he was getting, and he was like, I can't believe somebody so important from the video game industry loves my game.
I think he
I was like,
needed
this
to
is-
change
It's
his pants after that.
validating.
I was like, this is retarded. This guy's retarded. What's happening here?
I'd freak out if someone said that about my game.
But do you
that
think he was just
isn't a
saying it
game
because
yet.
he saw the cameras there and they were saying that they were filming a documentary? So he's like, I'm gonna go get in
Yeah,
this movie.
I
that's the
think he's
watch-out
got
part.
enough
I don't
press
think so.
coverage already.
Well, that's the watch out part. Is that like he wasn't really saying anything. He came by like he came. What I got the impression is that he's a busy guy, right? So he does walk around the place, and then he gives kind of like a presidential handshake to everybody, but he doesn't really give a fuck about those people. So it was just kind of weird that he was awestruck.
Well, he was saying that it looked
I don't
pretty
know.
good. He was. I mean, it did show him saying that stuff.
Yeah, but maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm being a little bit
and
too
it
mean.
does look good.
And I've
maybe-
heard
no
that. I've
arguing
heard
that.
maybe
Fez
I'm a
is,
little
I've
mean
heard
to
Fez is
Fish.
great.
Yeah.
Told you, I really want to play. I just don't want to play on the Xbox.
I have
I
an
don't
Xbox.
have an Xbox.
I have a Wii.
I've not played a game on either my Xbox or my PS3.
I still have to
don't
play
know
Mass
how
Effect 3 and freaking Assassin's Creed
long.
Revelations.
Since I moved into my new place, I have not plugged in
You
my
guys want
PS3 or
some
my
Mass
Wii.
Effect 3 spoilers?
No, oh my
No.
god. I'm gonna freaking mute you.
Shepard is in
Titanic
it.
sinks.
Ah! Wait, what? Oh, okay. Alright. Who's next on
Seamus.
Moviebox? Is it Seamus?
Seamus. And his pick is the Korean movie, The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. And I watched the trailer for it, and it looks really good.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it looks pretty fun.
I'm gonna throw some words at you. Korean comedy action western. If you like any of those, watch this movie.
Is it by... No, wait, that guy's Chinese.
Is it by...
Takashi Miike?
No, who's the guy who did Kung Fu Hustle? Stephen Chow?
Yes,
Yeah, he's...
Yeah. Well, is it or Chan Wook Park?
that's the old boy guy, right?
Or is that? Yeah, that's Korean.
Yeah,
there we go.
one Korean thing we could name.
Directed by Kim Ji-woon.
I'm pretty sure the most...
Pretty sure you said that name
The
wrong.
most famous Korean thing is Old Boy.
What about Lady Vengeance? Or Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance?
Well, old boy is like the most popular.
Yeah,
of
but
those.
it's all part of the same
Mhm.
trilogy of movies.
I want
It's
to see what
thematic
Spike
trilogy.
Lee is going to do with his Old Boy.
They've got to change it.
It's gonna be fucked up.
I hope they change it because Old Boy's really fucked up.
But that's what makes that movie so memorable. If they change it, that movie is nothing. I mean, seriously, how messed up that movie is 100% what makes that movie good.
Probably like 90%. There's still some good like movie in that.
The entire hammer sequence.
The hallway fight scene, yeah.
Yeah, that thing is so good.
It is. I really like the way that was shot.
Hmm
Yeah, one
Yeah.
shot.
But- Okay, with Dark Fox's we should this. I want to thank 8pant and Dark Fox 8, special guest Tumble, for joining us this week. Remember, if you enjoy this podcast, please donate to the official Geekbox Mumble server. It's where we hang out, we talk about video games, we shoot the shit. Come join us, and then you can be on the podcast. Or you can PM us on the forums about being on the podcast. PM me, Dakazu, or Mr. X, or Totoro. Forums.geekbox.net. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at alltalk podcast. Email us questions at podcast@alltalkpodcast.com. Review us on iTunes and all those other places. And don't forget to listen to the Geekbox, the Comic Conspiracy Comedy Button podcast. Good job, Brain. And make sure you go and listen to all the Horror Box episodes that X put up. What was your last movie, X?
Halloween 3.
So that was the last one. Okay, yeah. So they're all up on the site and podcast discussions thread.
It's on iTunes too. You
In
can
the forums.
subscribe and rate us. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, go do that. Okay, that just about wraps it up. Thanks for listening. I love you.
I love Philfish.